You only have one life to live, so get the most out of it. On Good Life, Great Life, join me, Brian Highfield, and my guests as we share success stories, habits, mindsets, and lessons learned by successful people. These lessons are not taught in schools, but are critical for getting ahead in life. Whether you want a successful business or career, optimal health, or a lifestyle that most people just dream of, Good Life, Great Life has you covered. After retiring from a successful corporate career in my 40s, I founded multi-million-dollar businesses in the sports and healthcare arenas. Now, I help everyday people maximize their lives and speak regularly at seminars, on podcasts, and radio shows to share principles on the topics of health, wealth, and happiness. Don't let a good life get in the way of a great life. Join me today on Good Life, Great Life. Welcome to another episode of Good Life, Great Life. And today we have Maria Romano from Las Vegas. So welcome to the program, Maria.
Hi, Brian, and thank you for the invite.
For sure. And so we want to get to know you a little bit. So what inspired you to be an entrepreneur and be a leader in the first place?
Well, when I started this journey, I didn't say I wanted to be an entrepreneur, okay? Many years ago. I was in the rental car business. I went to work for a company in Las Vegas and I met my husband. We started our own rental car company. And needless to say, when you're a small fish in a big pond, it was difficult, but we plowed through it. And in 2010, we sold the company. But you know what? I never really liked what I was doing in the actual corporate world, even though it was a company we owned. There was a lot of different avenues that we had to juggle as far as, employees and credit lines and so on and so forth. So we sold our company, and then I still needed to do something. And I decided, you know what? I wanted to just take the plunge and do something different. And I actually became a wedding officiant.
Wow.
So I went from really transitioned, and I transitioned later on in life. I was in my mid 50s. So life changed. Okay. And I said to myself, gosh, I'm in my 50s. Aren't you supposed to retire in your 60s? No, life is still beginning. So I actually took the plunge. I persevered and I became a wedding officiant. And then from there, I do celebrations of life. And now I train people to start their own businesses to do what I do. But in 2012, my husband passed away. So I was married 33 years and life changed again as well. And I think that's where you have to kind of pick up the pieces and self-motivate yourself that life still goes on, because there's a difference, like you said, between a good life or a great life. And it's a choice you make.
Yeah, for sure. And so I always say, like, life's always going to happen, right? It's not a matter of if life happens, it's just a matter of when. But most people are unprepared for those big life events to really take root. And being your own boss is kind of a good way to get some control, right?
Well, I was the type of person, I didn't like to be told what to do.
Yeah.
I complied, but I didn't like to be told what to do. And I really like the freedom and the flexibility of creating my own schedule. And I think that's the biggest thing. And that's what most entrepreneurial spirits want, is that flexibility. The money is important, but it's more about the flexibility of being able to do the things you love with the people you love. And that's the key thing. And you're right. And I love that as far as being an entrepreneur, being able to make my own schedule. But of course, you still need to have a discipline. You still need to make money. So there's got to be some sort of routine schedule that you sort of follow. But then it's always kind of fun not to, let's just say, let's chuck it all and let's go to the beach for the day or go to the mountains.
Right.
I mean, I think that's kind of neat as well. You can't always do that when you're working with somebody.
Right. What are some other traits that, to be a successful entrepreneur that someone really has to have? So, you mentioned, being able to be your own boss, you have to control your own schedule, and you need some self-discipline there. But what are some other keys?
Well, I think first of all, you have to, of course, we have to be self-motivated, and being able to push ourselves out of our comfort zone. And I think that's the key thing. And also recognizing that even though you are an entrepreneur, there are still people that you need in your life to guide you to get you where you're going. And I think that's a trait you need, because you might be good. So for example, I'm good at officiating wedding ceremonies, for example. That's something I do well, or in the rent-a-car business. However, my expertise is not maybe social media. My expertise is not marketing. So therefore, you need to understand that even though you are an entrepreneur, you shouldn't do everything all yourself. That as soon as you can outsource it and you can get people to give you a helping hand so you can get to where you want to be a lot more quickly and focus on the things you love to do. But I also think too, it's dreaming and dreaming big and not being able to, not allowing other people to change your mind. Okay. Because we have people around us that love us, and they have the best interests, but sometimes they don't have that entrepreneurial spirit and they're very cautious. And, I look at it as, I was listening to a podcast where a gentleman, Donald Miller, spoke about every day, or at least 3 times a week, he looks at his eulogy. Yes, he actually wrote his eulogy. And you don't want to be looking at your life later on saying, I should have done that. And please don't allow age to stop you as well. Don't allow age.
Yeah, there's some very successful people that started businesses, well-known businesses, even in their 60s. I mean, look at Colonel Sanders, right? He started KFC, and I think he was well into his 60s when he started that business. And there's many more like that.
Exactly right. And KFC, of course, is a great example, and obviously grew into multi-million dollar business. But it's not always, don't feel you have to turn something into a multi-million dollar business. What you need to do is find your passion, find what you like to do, find what motivates you to get you out of bed in the morning. And you know what? The money will come. That's how I feel. It might not be millions of billions, but you know what? We all have a gift, Brian. And I think that the key thing is sharing that gift with other people, sharing whatever talents we have so that other people can also become entrepreneurs. Now, there are some people that are just they do well working in a very structured environment, and that there's always going to be different types of individuals. Mm-hmm. But if you're that type of individual that you're dreaming, you're sitting at your desk going, I really want to do something else, then go do it. Go dabble. Now, listen, now, we're part of this big, great resignation, right? This is what's going on, and people are looking for multiple streams. But also, too, is don't limit yourself to one area. Years ago, we were raised, right? Your parents, they stayed at one position, one job, one business for many years. And that was great. But now what we're learning is we can do more because we have more access to things, that we're able to create things and have other businesses and not necessarily have to devote 40 or 50 hours a week. We can devote a few hours a week to multiple streams of income coming in. And I think that's the key thing. So you have to have multiple streams.
Yeah, that's something we definitely want to teach people, because what if one goes away? I mean, I remember when COVID hit and people were without a paycheck for even a week, and then they were going to the food bank. They just did not have any savings or another source of income to provide in that time of need.
That's true. And in my industry, for example, marrying people, they have to be in front of you. I just read an article, there were some states, I think New York was one of them, where they were able to get a marriage license online, and actually the officiant was able to actually perform it online, which still there's a lot of different legalities about that as well. So we're back to, the in-person, but that's what happened during COVID is I took the opportunity, I wrote a book on how going from just one to a plus one, because I also talk to people over 50 that are looking to find love again. Because you talk about healthy life, you need to have a healthy life and a healthy personal life, and being able to be either in a relationship that's healthy for both of you, or find a relationship. So I did that. And then I also created the course on how to become a rock star wedding officiant, where I help people do exactly what I do. So therefore, those are other multiple streams and for whatever works for you.
Yeah. And where can they go to look for if they want to start a business, because I read recently like 70% of people right now, because of the great resignation, the big quit, people are reevaluating their lives. They're looking at what they value. They want that flexibility that you were talking about, but they really don't know where to start and go. What are some suggestions for some folks on where to begin?
Well, I think first of all, number one is crawl around on the internet. Okay. Take your time, start looking and seeing what other people talk to other people that you admire, people that have been in your life, and ask them any suggestions, and also your capital has a lot to do with it, depending upon how much available capital you have, because you don't want to overextend yourself. Although I have to tell you, there are many entrepreneurs that became very successful and they overextended themselves in the beginning because they did what they needed to do. Okay. But give it time. So talk to different people. If you really explore, there are quite a few summits that they have where people are out there selling different types of avenues of hustles, side hustles, or businesses that you want to get into. But find people that have been successful and take your time. And I think that's the key thing with that.
No, it's definitely good advice. A mentor is always important, and I always like to say, if you want what someone has, you can just do what they do, and you find that person out there that is doing that and is successful, and learn from them.
Absolutely.
Is there a particular book that really made an impact on your life that you just like to go to and you would recommend to people?
There was a couple of books, I have to tell you. The one book that had really made an impact on my life, and it's been around for many, many years, is The Four Agreements by Don Miguel Ruiz, because it's going back to the things that really are about integrity, about who you are, your word, but don't take things personally, so I think that is important as well. But that is one book that has stayed with me. And I do a lot of reading with, I love Brene Brown. And I'm just starting, and I read multiple books, to be very honest. So I'm constantly read Marie Forleo, and Donald Miller is the newest one. I just picked up his book, Business Made Easy Simple. So, and I read, and people that are successful, but that are genuine. And I think that's the key thing for me. There's a lot of people, Brian, out there that are selling you, but you really feel like they're selling you. And I think when you can tell when somebody, it has integrity, passion, and authentic. And if you're not the right fit for something, they'll tell you. And I appreciate that more so than somebody just trying to sell me a course or something to open my own business. And I think that is something you need to differentiate as well.
Awesome. So do you have a daily routine, just a routine that you do every single day? And how important is that?
I do have a routine, and it's taken me many years to actually get into it. And every morning, before I hit the ground, I'm so thankful for my health, because you can have all the money in the world. As we all know, health is the most important. So getting out of bed, being healthy, and then I take a few minutes to meditate or pray, and then I move on. I take care of my dogs. Thank God my kids are all older, so I don't need to worry about kids anymore. But then I actually, I get into a routine where I exercise, because I think it's important to have a healthy life. And then from there, I have my 3 must-haves that I need to do every day, and things that are important that are going to make a difference. And then I have my sub lists. I have my main list and my sub list, and I try to stick to it as much as I can. And I think that's the key thing. As entrepreneurs, sometimes we overload ourselves, and then we self-sabotage ourselves as well. So if we don't get something done, we beat ourselves up. If I don't, I just allocate more time so for the next day.
Awesome. Good stuff. Now you're a person of influence, and if you could inspire some sort of movement out there that could just bring the most amount of good to people out there, what do you think that would be?
This morning I woke up, and one of the things I was thinking about, I'm on a board in Las Vegas for the Wedding Chamber. And as we're always trying to improve or move our membership, and that's very important. And I think the key thing for us as people in general is that we need to stop, we have all this greatness inside of us, right? What we do is we talk about it. But I think what we have to do is start walking in greatness start moving forward. And that's the key thing. So start walking in greatness, walk the talk.
Awesome. Good stuff. So as we wind down here, our audience may want to get in touch with you or follow you. Is there some place they can go to get in touch with you?
Absolutely. If you have a question, I am so easy to get in touch with. Maria Romano at trueloveknots.com. And the knots is KNOTS, and it's true love, TRUELOVE. You could also just pop my name in Las Vegas Minister. You'll find me. Listen, if you have a question, maybe about officiating, maybe you know someone's getting married, your daughter, your son, yourself. Maybe you have a question about your love life. Please. I'm there. I'm accessible.
Awesome. Great stuff. So thank you so much, Maria, for being with us today. Our guest has been Maria Romano, an entrepreneur and a wedding officiant. So Maria, thank you for joining us today.
And thank you.
Absolutely.